Okay, everybody just adjust a good motivation. And Geshe says, I will not elaborate, just going for refuge and reciting Ganek Lagema. So last week we spent a little bit of time in the beginning to talk about refuge. And when we talk about refuge, also we need to understand that there is some advice that is given. So there is like common advice, uncommon advice. There is advice on what you are supposed to practice. There is advice in terms of what you are supposed to avoid and so forth. So there are many different instructions and advice that comes with refuge. However, in the Lamrim, we find this explanation that at the end, really, in terms of the training and the advice of refuge that you need to keep, it comes down to the advice of what you need to be aware of in terms of the law of cause and effect. So actually we see that the law of cause and effect, this presentation of cause and result, is extremely important. Like in a sense, everything that is precious and crucial and important to practice, if you were to pile it, put it together in one place, that is actually the law of cause and effect. So it's very important for us. So as we say, it is very important that we come to properly uphold the law of cause and effect. So what are we referring here to? So it refers to the fact that if we accumulate causes or karma that are virtue, the result will be happiness. But if we accumulate karma that is non-virtuous, the result is suffering. And there is actually certainty about that, right? There are no exceptions. This is what happens. The fact is that in terms of the maturational results that we experience, we see that we have suffering upon suffering upon suffering. And this is something that we must stop. We must try to reduce, to stop the flow of suffering. The reason why we don't do it is because actually, we don't have full conviction in the teachings of the Buddha, and B, we don't have understanding of dependent origination. And how is this reflected? The fact that we don't have really faith or conviction in the teachings of the Buddha, because the Buddha has very clearly taught the law of cause and effect, is the fact that when there is no one around, we see that there is an opportunity to steal. We see that there is an opportunity to say a lie if we think we can be convincing enough. When there are other people around, of course, we behave very properly, isn't it? We're on our best behavior. But when there is no one around, we behave in a different way. So why do we do this? This actually indicates that we don't have faith, conviction in the teachings of the Buddha. And also we don't understand the presentation of the law of cause and effect. We don't understand dependent origination. All right. But the thing is, there comes a point where we have to make the decision and say, whatever karma I create, the worst karma or the best karma, I will be the only one who will have to experience the results, the consequences of that in my next life. And actually, that can help us avoid engaging the worst of the negative karma. And it starts by saying, I won't do it today. And when you avoid it today, then the next day, you also say, today again, I will not do it. And if you do like this day after day, it actually makes a very big difference. All right. So, okay, that's a little bit about karma, the law of cause and effect, but let's go back into the colors. We are not finished. We still have a little bit to discuss. Okay. So we stopped in our Wednesday class by talking about the possibilities between color and white color. And we say that there are three possibilities. If we say there are three possibilities, we begin with the first one, which is the possibility of that which is both. And we say that an example of that which is both is the color of the white religious conch. And we explain the reason why this is the first example that is given for the sake of establishing auspicious interdependence. If we have three possibilities, the first one is the possibility of something being both. The other two possibilities, they come from calculating who pervades whom and who does not pervade whom, all right? So Geshe was saying, my question here, starting this class, is we have two bases. One is color, and the other one is white color. So having already told you what is the first possibility, that which is both, I would like you to tell me who pervades what and who does not pervade what. And when you say there is no pervasion, please give me the example. So last week we talked a lot. We gave a lot of examples. We did that quite a lot. We have two bases. We have two things, and we want to see, if it is A, it is pervasive that it is B. If it is B, is it pervasive, or it is not pervasive that it is A, and so forth. You should know how to calculate these possibilities. Okay. All right. So, as I was saying, we say like this: if something is white color, it is pervasive that it is color. But if something is color, it's not pervasive that it is white. For example, the green color of Buddha Amoghasiddhi. Okay. So when I say this to you, is this okay or is it not okay? From your side, you should be thinking about finding a fault, finding a weakness, or something like that. Okay. All right, let's continue with that. We said that the first possibility is the possibility of that which is both, and we gave the example of the color of the white religious conch. Okay, if we're positing it as an example of the first possibility, then it follows that it must be the case that the color of the white religious conch must be a color, and also it must be white, isn't it? Okay, this is what we say, it's a possibility of being both. When someone says, take the color of the white religious conch, it is both, then in debate, how we say is, how one would follow from this statement is, it follows that it is color. Okay, that thing that you stated, it follows that it is color. So when you hear the expression, it follows that it is like this, you are actually saying it is color. Okay, and to that, the person who has stated this as the example has to say, yes, I accept. This is what I accept. I think that it is. Okay, so the first person who has given this example says, yes, I accept, meaning I believe, I accept that it is color. So now the other person says, it is color because, so when I put the question like this, it's like, you must give me a reason here. Okay, give me the reason. Why is it color? Okay, so one person says, I accept, meaning I accept it is color, right? And then the opponent comes back to them and says, it is color because, and they leave the question.
To be a color.
Sorry?
Color hue. It's suitable to be a hue of the color.
Okay, very good. You remember the definition. So it is very good that you remember the definition, because remember that we said that when we give the definition, there is a relationship between the object defined and its definition, and we have those 8 doors of privation. Okay, so the reason that we give here is a reason of privation. And when we have a reason of privation, we say that this is a correct reason. If there is no privation in the reason that we give, then we say that this is not a correct reason. We say it's incorrect reason. Okay. In addition to that, if we take the subject, which is the white religious conch, right? Once you give this answer, right, you are actually established, or you show that it is suitable to be a hue. Okay, so we have established the first point, that we said that the color of the white religious conch is color. All right, we've given the correct answer. But remember that we have given this as an example of something which is both. So our opponent remembered this. So now the opponent is going to make us provide a reason to prove that also it is white color. Okay, so the opponent says it follows it is white color. All right, so when they say it follows it is white colors, it means it's white color, isn't it? Okay, and in this, there is no way that you can back off. There is no way that you could say, no, it's not white color, because it is you in the first place who gave this as an example of something which is both color and white color. So already you have accepted that it is white color. That is definitely your position. Okay. So now you have to start thinking of a reason. Okay. Why is it white color? So this is what is coming. Okay, so it goes like this. The opponent says it follows it is white color. You have to say, yes, I accept. Your opponent would say it is white color because. Now you have to give a reason. Okay, so you give the answer because it is suitable to be white color. Okay, all right, like before. So what are you saying is suitable to be white color? Okay, so what you're actually saying is that the white conch is white, and that goes into actually saying that it is white color, isn't it? So it is like this. We say that what we establish here is that the white conch is white, and we say, yes, I accept. And the reason that we give to that is we say because it is suitable to be white hue. So when you say it is suitable, that it does not refer to the sky, right? It refers to that original thing we are discussing, that example, right? So the reason that you give refers to that specific example that we gave at the beginning, the color of the white religious conch. That is an example of being both color and white color. So when you say it is suitable to be white hue, the it refers to that, the color of the white conch, isn't it? And by saying this, basically you have now clarified that it is color and also it is white color, isn't it? All right, so we're discussing this color of the white religious conch, and we say it is white, and then we say why, give me a reason, and the reason that you have given is because it is suitable to be white hue, which shows very well you understand the definition. Very good, and it's a valid reason, correct reason. Can you think of some other reason? Don't give me the definition here as a reason. Some other reason that establishes that it is white.
Because it's not other color than white.
Geshe says, you could go like this. Okay, we're talking about the white color of the color of the white religious conch. Okay, we want to prove that it is white color. You could say like this, because it is root color and it is none of the other three root colors, because we know there are four root colors, right? White is one of them, and the other three are the blue, the yellow, and the red. So if you say it is root color, but it's not blue, yellow, or red, wouldn't that leave us only with white? Okay, so what if we give this answer? We say it is white because, and now we try to give a reason, because we say it is a root color without being any of the other three root colors. So it means you have excluded 3 out of 4 root colors and you're left with only white, so it can only be white. Okay, so with this answer, we hope that we are proving that this is white. But for this to be a correct reason, we said that there must be privation. If there is privation, it is correct reason. So is there privation here? Okay, if that is a correct reason, right, it must be pervasive that it is white. So is it like this? Okay, you have given a reason. If there is privation, it means it is pervasive, that then it will have to be white color. If it is pervasive, then it is correct reason. Okay, so do we have privation here? Do we have a correct reason here? Okay, so if you say, because it is root color, but it is not any of the other 3 root colors, is this correct reason? Okay, all right, so you can see here that reason goes hand in hand with being able to understand whether there is privation or no privation. If you can understand that principle, it's a reason, correct reason if there is privation, then you understand the path of logic. So Geshe says, I hope you understand this. Okay. 당가로서 홉드칼라 차와 카토 콜라 게츠시나 줌신 카리레 카리치네 갈보 임바 디 주베체도 카리치네 가로서 차와 카토 콜라 게츠시이스. It is like this. The white belongs into the group of the 4 root colors. Okay, so you are trying to, you want to talk about white. Where would you find white? You find white in the group of the root colors. So if you start talking about the root colors and say, put aside 3 of them, then suddenly you're left only with white. So the white kind of like is prominent. That's what is obvious there. If it's not any of the other 3, then it is white. So look, we're trying to find a reason to explain or to prove that the color of the white conch is white, and the color white belongs in the group of the root colors. So somehow we want to make this white color very clearly appear to the mind. When you want to establish something, you want to make it stand out, become very clear, right? So if you say, all right, look at the group of the root colors, there are 4 of them in that group, it's none of the other 3. Okay, so it's as if the other 3 have taken a step backwards. Then it is as if the white one is a step forward, right? So the white one appears very clearly in the mind. Okay, if it is in that group, but it's none of the other 3, oh yeah, well then, obviously it is white.
Oh, Surana.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, how about the answer? Let's say if I say everyone agrees that it's white color.
Okay, that's good. But what about if they're all wrong? Okay, so, when we say, everybody is correct, but everybody says this, right? When you say everybody, we have to understand that really we are referring to everybody who is, a worldly, ordinary being within samsara. right? In reality, if you compare all samsaric beings to one being who is always correct, and that is the Buddha, you see the only one who can be correct is the Buddha. Other worldly ordinary beings, actually, many cases we are mistaken, right? To give you an example, a lot of people consider themselves to be permanent. And they say, I'm not dying, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here 5 years from now. I'll be here 10 years from now. So right now I'm very busy. I'm working, accumulating money, wealth, right? I will be here. See you in 5 years, in 10 years. It's mistaken, isn't it? Okay, so the thing is that people say, yes, of course, I will die. Everybody dies. I understand. We all have to die. But I will not die this month, for sure. Or they say, I'm not dying for another week. Or they say, I will not die tomorrow, am I? And even as the time is getting closer and closer, they still hang on to this idea, I am not going to die tomorrow. And because they think I'm not going to die tomorrow, I engage, therefore, in their activities, in everything I have in my to-do list for tomorrow. The fact that we have not understood that the time of death is uncertain accounts for the fact that we have very strong grasping at permanence. And because we have that very strong grasping at permanence, we don't practice Dharma. Because we think, okay, I will do it, but sometime in the future, a little bit later, not right away. I don't have to do it right away. Okay, so that's the problem. All right, we got diverted a little bit again. So it is like this, we keep saying, I will not die tomorrow. But actually, we have no certainty. We have no way of saying this. And if you say with certainty, I will not die tomorrow, this is actually a lie. Equally, it is a lie if you say, I will die tomorrow. Actually, we don't know. And to be honest, the honest answer that we can give is, I do not know. Maybe I will die tomorrow. Maybe I will not die tomorrow. This is the honest answer. The other two, I'm certain I will die. I'm certain I will not die. The other two are lies. So let's go back. We were looking at the possibilities between white color and root color. And we said that if it is white color, it is pervasive, that it is root color. If it is root color, it is not pervasive, that it is white color. For example, the green color of Buddha Amoghasiddhi. Now, you see in Dura, in collected topics, we saw that the first example that was given was the example of the color of the white religious conch. It was given for auspicious interdependence. And similarly here, the green color of Buddha Amoghasiddhi is given for auspicious interdependence. In the future, we will reach enlightenment. We will become enlightened as one of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. And each one of the Dhyani Buddhas has their own specific color. So as you can see here, we introduce the green color of Buddha Amoghasiddhi in the debate because that gives the opportunity to debate, talk about the colors of the other 4 Dhyani Buddhas, isn't it? So again, it's auspicious interdependence. So actually, if you can pick up on these clues, you will see that from the very beginning, when you start studying Dura, there are certain messages that are communicated. With the white religious conch will communicate the idea that you will understand Dharma well, the Dharma will spread everywhere, and by doing this, you will reach a state of enlightenment in the aspect of one of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. So it communicates some goals, right? To understand the Dharma extensively and to set the goal of reaching the state of Buddhahood. Okay, we're not finished yet because we have given the example of something which is both We have explained who pervades whom. We have explained who does not pervade the other. And now we need to look at the fourth possibility, something which is neither. Something which is neither means something which is neither a color nor white color. So again, we have to come up with an example. And the typical example in the Tibetan debate is here to say, okay, the horns of the rabbit. So this is something we need to explain. The rabbit obviously is the usual animal. We know rabbits do not have horns. So the horns of the rabbit is non-existent entity. And this is a very safe answer. Because that thing does not exist, there's not going to be any debate of, is it color? Well, it doesn't exist. End of conversation. Is it white color? Well, it doesn't exist. All right. So you could learn this. The horns of the rabbit can be a useful answer. Okay. So if you have given this answer, all right, it means that you are saying that the horns of the rabbit are not white. Okay. So now tell me, it's the horns of the rabbit are not white because the answer that we give here, or the reason that we give here, is a reason that has to prove that it is not white. So the reason that is because it doesn't exist must pervade, it must be pervasive, always establish that it is not white. Okay? We say, since it is non-existent, it is pervasive that is not white. So non-existent has become a reason that establishes, proves that it is not white. Okay. When you think about it, is this a good reason? Correct reason? Why do you say no? What's not right?
Because I can imagine anything I want. Let's say I can imagine a white elephant, and this white elephant that I imagine doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It doesn't exist, but yet it is white in color.
Tapos sana mepa semala mepa can't tempati pecha sana lampo carpo tanda yomare ngarozo campo denala yomare yina yon koran carbore. But if it is white, it must exist. But this elephant does not exist. Okay, if it is white, it's a color. If it is a color, it exists. You accept the existence of colors, don't you? Okay, this is for you. Geshe says it's not necessarily my position, but this is what follows from what you're saying. Yeah? Okay, because you accept that it is white, basically you accept that it exists. If it does not exist in the world, does not exist at all in the world, we don't have any conversation saying, oh, it's a very useful object. It is this, it is that. It doesn't exist.
Lindy just said the legs of the snake.
Okay. Julki,
the legs of the snake.
Yes.
Because it does not exist.
Okay, so Geshe was saying the legs of the snake is just we don't see them, but actually they're there. So there are snakes that have legs. Snakes that have legs.
Geshe, how you know that the snakes got legs?
Okay, Geshe says, I have read in different texts and I have heard stories, and I believe in those things, these accounts.
But actually, at the encyclopedia, it says the snakes got legs. So I was surprised that Geshe didn't see the legs before, but he knows. So it's like Geshe knows everything.
Okay, you know that back pointed little bone in your skull? Okay, right. So Geshe says, I have never seen this, but I say that it exists. I'm not saying that I only have the forehead, but I don't have the back of the skull.
Geshe, so if something doesn't exist, it wouldn't have any color and it wouldn't have any identity or form or anything like that, isn't it? So it would always be the truth.
truth.
I mean, as in, for instance, we were saying that a conch shell is white, but if a rabbit with horns, okay, rabbit with horns is the horns are white, but the horns do not exist. So if they do not exist, they won't have any color, they won't have any form, they won't have any identity at all. So it doesn't matter what you give it, color or whatever aspect it is always going to be true because it doesn't exist in the first place.
Yeah, Geshe says, look, if you say that something does not exist, such as the horns of the rabbit, right? We cannot talk about it having a color. We only say it doesn't exist, so it doesn't have color, it doesn't have shape, it doesn't have size. Okay, so color and shape and size are for things that we can actually see, isn't it? They are for bases, objects that we can see. Yeah, okay.
How do we establish something that do not exist as a possibility because it doesn't exist? How does the possibility comes because that thing does not exist?
Okay, basically we are dealing with two possibilities: the possibility that it exists, of that which exists, and the possibility that it does not exist, isn't it? So we have already looked at the possibility of how it can exist, what it can exist, but then we also have to look at the possibility of that which is non-existent, and this is how we ended up talking about the horns of the rabbit. Anyway, what Geshe was saying before was that Khenso Rinpoche visited America once, and he saw an animal that looked like a rabbit or a hare, and it seemed to have something growing on the head that really looked like horns. And when he came back, and there was this standard, response in the debate, everyone was saying the horns of the rabbit, the horns of the rabbit. He was saying, I really need to take a photo and distribute a photo of that animal here. Okay, so then the answer to that, when that issue came up, is that living being, it was similar to a rabbit, but it was not a rabbit, all right? So there is some animal that perhaps looks like a rabbit. When you see it, you are mistaken, thinking, oh, perhaps it is rabbit, right? But actually, it's not a rabbit. So there was some animal that had little horns on the head, but it was not a rabbit. So it was not suitable to be used as that. There is a saying in Tibetan that if it is not similar, you cannot place it as an example. Okay, so if someone says, give me an example, or in English, I think better English, facsimile of your face, what you can do is a photograph. You give a photograph of your face, isn't it? So it has a resemblance, but actually it's not you. Okay, so what we're saying here is that even though there might be likeness, it doesn't mean that it is the actual thing. Okay, so Geshe says, I hope you understood the three possibilities. Okay, so let's look here at the four root colors, the blue, the yellow, the white, and the red. Let's investigate this. Can we find four possibilities? Okay, so for each one, we should be able to calculate four possibilities. Okay, so what we're saying here is something which is a color, and also for the blue, there should be four possibilities, for the yellow, four possibilities, for the white, four possibilities, for the red, four possibilities. Can you find an example like this? One example that fulfills all this. Okay, so Geshe was saying it is like this. You have to come up with these questions, because these are the questions that make you calculate and say, okay, if it is this, is it pervasive that is that? If it is this, does it must be that or not? Is there an exemption and so forth? And if you think like this is training, all right? This is sharpens their mind. Okay, so we're asking a question here of, can you come up with an example of something that it is a color, the way that this is expressed, it is not a color. So if you say if it is not a color, because you have double negation, it means you're saying it is a color. Okay, so something which is a color, and we have 4 possibilities for blue, 4 possibilities for yellow, 4 possibilities for white, 4 possibilities for red. Can you come up with an example like that? What did you say? Because I didn't hear. So probably you got something there. What was your example? What did you get?
We didn't give any examples, but we were discussing about why are we talking about not a color? Why not just a color?
Well, because this is the expression, if you say it is not pervasive, but it is not color, well, in reality, you're saying we're dealing with something which is a color. Okay, so if we say, if it is a human, it follows that it is pervasive, that it is not white. The white here is, let's say, referring to the complexion, right? So it is not pervasive that everyone who is a human cannot be white. Okay, there are many humans who have white skin, like, or Westerners, Europeans, and so forth. They have white skin. Okay, so when we say it is not pervasive, that it is not a color, so basically we indicate that it is a color. There is a color there. So, all right, Geshe says it would take a long time. And let's look at the example given of the text. They say the color of cloth. All right, so what we're doing here, we say we have to find 4 possibilities for each one of the colors. So what do we have? We have 2 bases. One base is the color of the cloth. And the other one, let's say we begin with the white color. And then we'll go to the, the blue color, the yellow color, the red color. Okay, but let's start with calculating the 4 possibilities with the white color. Okay, so the color of the cloth and white color. We must be able to find 4 possibilities. Okay, so don't try to think of all 4 colors simultaneously. Okay, just focus white color on one hand and color of the cloth on the other. All right, we will understand if we follow the order. First of all, can you find something which is both? Okay, so yes, because the example that you give is something which is both white color and the color of cloth. All right, now because we're calculating all the possibilities, we should be able to find an example of something which is white color, but not the color of the cloth. What? With example.
Like to try. So the color of the cloth and white color. So the color of the cloth does not prevent white color, and white color does not prevent color of the cloth. That's why it's 4 possibilities.
Right. Okay. Yes. Correct answer. Very good. Okay. But give me an example of something which is the color of cloth, but is not white color. Okay, so when you say the color of the red cloth, what is it and what it is not?
It is the color of the red cloth. It's red in color and it's not white in color. Correct?
No, not quite. Not quite. No. We have 2 bases that we are comparing, and you have to say it is one, but it's not the other.
So the color of the red cloth is red, and white is white, can be a white metal and not a white cloth.
You have given us an example, the color of the red cloth. So we have to find It is. Okay, what is that thing? It is the color of the cloth, isn't it? Tick. But it is not white. Why? Because it is red. Yeah, it should be clear. It should be easy to say it is this. Okay, it is A, but it is not B. That should be easy to say.
So for the other way, it could be a white wood, but not the color of the cloth. I'm not sure.
Okay.
if I'm right.
All right, now you say that the color of the wood is not the color of the cloth. That's not sufficient. Tell us why. Give us the reason.
The white color, if the red wood color is not the color of the cloth. White cloth. White cloth.
Why?
Blue color.
Because the red color of the cloth is not one of the other three root colors, the white, blue, and what's the other one? Yellow.
Okay, we don't have a problem with being white. This has been ticked, established. We are saying why is it not the color of the wood? Yeah, we're not debating about the white. White is tick. Okay, fine. We've explained this. So the question is why the color of the cloth is not the color of the wood. You could say it's the same with saying the color of the dog is not the color of the cow. It's the same, isn't it? Okay, Geshe says, you know why you cannot give me a correct answer? Because you're forgetting the earlier lessons. So remember in the beginning, we gave the definition of the color, and there are some characteristics there. So you're forgetting those, so you're not using those in the debate. Okay, you have to say it is not the color of wood because it is not suitable to be the color of the wood. So if something is the color of the wood, you should be able to say it is suitable to be the color of the wood. Here you're saying it is not suitable to be the color of the wood. So what is it that you have in mind that you say that thing is not suitable to be the color of the wood? Okay, it was your own example. You even forgot what you had given as an example. We're asking for a possibility, an example of something which is white, but is not the color of the white cloth, isn't it? And you gave the example of the white wood. Or the color of the wood, right? That was your example.
Maybe what I wanted to say is the color white can be a white cloth, but it also can be a white wood. So it does not prevail the color of the cloth.
Sorry, the white can't be the color of the white cloth.
But the color white can also be a color of wood. So it does not prevail the color of the cloth.
Okay, so if you just say white color, the white color does not become the color of the cloth, does not become the color of the wood, does not become the color of the house. But if you say the white color of the wood, it becomes the color of the wood. Yeah, later on, we will come into this subject or chapter that it is about sets and subsets, so generalities and specifics, which you don't know yet. But when we come there, you will see that this is the case that we're discussing here. All right, okay. So, okay, just to clarify, because it's going to, if we were to try to do it in the class, it will take forever. We will not finish. Okay, on one hand, you have the color of the cloth, and on the other hand, you will have to look at white color, blue color, yellow color, red color. For each one of them, try to calculate the 4 possibilities. Okay, homework. You do it on your own. Okay, now, Geshe was saying I want to quickly talk about something else because the author of the text here has mentions 2 important things. One is different, and the other concept is one. So we have one and different. Okay, so what can be different? If you have 2 things, they are 2 different things. If you have 3 things, they're 3 different things. You have 4 things, there are 4 different things. 5 things, there are 5 different things, all right? But if you have 1, they're not different. It's just one. It's just one thing, okay? So different and one. So another way of describing different, meaning individual, separate individuals. Whereas if they are not separate individuals, it's just one. So to give you an example of different things, black and white, the vase and the pillar, the yellow, the green, the red. Okay. But if I just, all these are different things, individually separate things. Okay. But if I just say vase, it's just one thing, right? It's not 2 or 3 or many, just one, vase. Okay, so how are we going to decide whether something is different or whether it is one? If we look at Pramanavartika, there is a verse there that says that if it generates different understanding through the name, it has to be different. Okay, so let's explain that. Okay, we use the name or the noun vase, all right? So this is one word, vase. Okay, it makes us understand the vase. We use another word, pillar, and that indicates pillar to us. As long as we have different names, okay, it means we communicate a different idea. We talk about a different object. Now, an interesting example of that is one object. So in English is the needle that we use for sewing. Okay. So in India, the noun for that is sui. In Chinese, it is chu or something like that. Okay. So the question is here, are we talking about different things or are we talking about the same object? And the thing is that for the people who live in India, all right, when they see that object, what comes into their mind is the word sui. If an English person looks at that object, what comes into their mind is needle, right? Okay, so it's the same thing. All the people in this land, they use the same name for that particular object. Okay, but if you just have the word vase, so obviously you're talking about the one and the same thing. Nothing has changed. It's like a vase, okay? So what it says here is that in one country, the vase, the object vase, will be referred to by the word vase. No one is going to talk about the vase by using the word needle. Because if you use the word needle or the word pillar, then everyone would understand that you're talking about some other object. Okay, so really we are looking at the word, the sound of the word. If you can perceive different words, it means we're talking about different things. And Geshe was saying, actually, you might catch yourself doing this if you are following someone who is talking in Tibetan, let's say, right? And then you say, oh, he used a different word. It must be a different object, okay? If you hear different words, it means you're dealing with 2 different objects. But if you keep hearing the same word, vase, obviously it's just talking about the vase that is one. It's not talking about different things, just talking about the one and only vase. Okay, so hopefully you understand the principle between same and different. So glasses and notebook. Are they different? Yes, different. Okay, so what about this? Glasses. Is the glasses different? All right, so you said that the glasses are different. They're not the same. Okay, so then it means the glasses are different from the notebook. If the glasses are different from the notebook, it means the glasses are not the notebook. Okay, so the glasses are different from the notebook, but the glasses are not different. So if it is different from, it is not pervasive that it is different. Did you understand? Different from. So look at the glasses. What are the glasses? Are the glasses different? No. The glasses, no, they're not different. Okay, but then someone can say, yes, but they are different from the notebook. Being different from the notebook is not pervasive that it is different. It doesn't make it different. Why? Because it is one, it is single. Okay, so what we're saying here is that if A is different from B, it doesn't mean that A is different. Okay, so for example, look at the glasses. Listen carefully, look at the glasses. All right. Are the glasses different from the notebook? Yes, the glasses are different from the notebook. Does this mean that the glasses are different? No, because the glasses are one. Okay, so if it is different from, it doesn't mean that it is different. Different here mean different, many different things. Okay, because the glasses are a single item, isn't it? So when we use the word different meaning many different individual objects. It's not many different individual objects, it's a single object. All right, once you start bringing another object, you can say the glasses are different from the notebook, but it doesn't make the glasses as being many different things. Why? Because it is one single thing. Okay, so this term different actually means plurality, means you have many different things. Okay, so you understand the distinction between different and single. Different means plurality.
Geshe, we have 2 eyes and 2 ears. So are the 2 eyes, are they the same or different?
Different.
Different. One
Left eye, right eye. Eye, no difference. Left eye, right eye, difference.
Okay, all right, so hopefully you understood this term different here. Keep in your mind when you just say different, it means many different, okay? Okay, so Geshe says, I hope you understood this, and next week we're going to look at possibilities between different things. All right, but we stop here for tonight. Okay, let's offer mandala.